Hey guys, it's ProRider Motor Guy, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. So today I thought I'd mix it up a little bit, come outdoors. It is a little bit breezy, so I hope the audio comes out okay. But I wanted to go over the figure 8 exercise. This, in my opinion, is the bread and butter of all exercises. So I'm going to go over some mistakes I think riders make when they're practicing this exercise and give you some tips along the way. So stay right there. Okay, so like I said, I believe that the figure 8 exercise is the bread and butter of all exercises. You can work on several different things when doing this exercise. You can work on throttle control, friction zone, head knob movements, trail braking or feather in the rear brake, handlebar lock, and counterweighting. I've done in-depth videos on each one of those topics, so if you haven't seen those, be sure to go check them out. Okay, so what I have here, I have 2 pivot cones. They're about 20 feet apart. Now, if you're a new rider or new to figure 8s, I suggest you start with them a little bit wider and then move them in closer as you start to improve. The closer you move them in, the more challenging it becomes. So let's talk about some mistakes I think riders make. The first one is they have too much momentum when they're doing this exercise, too much speed. So what happens is they end up using momentum to carry them through the turns instead of the friction zone. So what you need to do is in between your U-turns in the center, slow the bike down with a little trail brake. That way when you start your U-turn and the bike leans over, it forces you to use the friction zone to keep the bike up and not momentum. Now the second thing I see is head knob movements. They have a tendency to want to look at this pivot cone. Okay, that's one thing they do. What happens when you look down? The bike wants to go where you look, so the bike tends to want to fall. Or they look at this far pivot cone, and again, the bike goes where you look. So you end up going wide because the bike wants to ride to that cone. We don't want to ride to that cone. The goal is to hit the center of this pattern. So you want to keep your chin up, turn your head, look for the center of this pattern, get as close as you can to the middle before you start making your other U-turn. This will also help you learn how to make the bike go where you want it to go. Put that front wheel where you want it to go. So now I want to walk you through the pattern. And as I'm walking through, I'm going to talk to you and tell you what I'm doing, when I'm in the friction zone, where my head knobs are looking, those types of things. So as I'm approaching this pivot cone, okay, that's where I'm going to start my turn. So I'm here, I'm already in the friction zone now. The bike is already pulling me. I already have power to the rear wheel. So as I'm approaching here, I'm going to make my turn. I'm going to turn my head, search for the middle, turn the handlebars, let the bike lean over. I'm in the friction zone because the bike is leaned over. Whenever the bike is leaned over, you have to be in the friction zone. The bike is spinning me around, looking for the center. Head nods are up. Once I find the center, look for my next pivot cone, head nods are up, use my peripheral. Again, slowing the bike down, don't want a lot of momentum. Turn, search for the middle, turn the bars. As the bike leans over, I'm counterweighting a little. Again, I'm in the friction zone. The bike is pulling me around the corner. As the bike is pulling me, looking for the center. Once I get the bike up straight, little rear brake, slow me down, and again, searching for the middle, turn the bars, letting the bike lean over. Again, I'm in the friction zone because the bike is leaned over. I'm not coasting. People have a tendency to want to put the clutch in here and coast, but remember, if you take off speed, you don't have enough momentum to keep the bike up. So you have to be in the friction zone. Coming around, getting the bike up, again, searching for the center, turn the bars. I'm already in the friction zone. The bike is leaned over. I'm counterweighting. If you feel like you're going too fast in the middle of this turn, a little bit of trail brake to slow it down. And when you do that, the bike's going to lean more, which is going to tighten up your turn, up, and then it's going to just repeat that over and over and over again. So now I'm going to ride it and demonstrate it so you can see exactly what it looks like when practicing this figure 8 exercise. Okay, so I'm going to demonstrate the figure 8. I'm going to ride it for you. I'm going to begin my U-turn at the far pivot cone. Here we go. The bike is pulling me, little RPMs. Turn my head, turn the bars, trying to find the center. Trail brake if I need to. Again, bike is pulling me. Body go straight, full lock, try to find the middle. Slow the bike down. Bike is pulling me the whole time. I'm in the friction zone the whole time. Turn my head, look for the center, train up. A little bit of trouble, you can slow down. Turn my head, look for the center. Bike is still pulling me. I've never put the clutch in not one time yet. It's pulling me the whole time. I'm just turning my head, turning the bars, little counterweight. You don't need a lot of counterweight. I don't weigh enough to keep this bike up on counterweight alone. You gotta have power to the rear wheel. You gotta be in the friction zone. Turning my head, looking for the center. Turning my head, looking for the center. Nice RPMs. One more time. Turn my head, look for the center. Control your speed. Control your momentum. Get used to letting the friction zone do the work, not momentum. Turn my head, look for the center. And that's how you do the figure eight. So now I want to thank you for watching. And I hope this video gave you some tips that you can use when you go out to practice your figure eights. Now, if you found this video helpful, be sure to like it and share it. And until next time, practice, 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 and ride safe.